Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I want to apologize for everyone that was watching the previous stream and we got cut off. It just automatically gets cut off at 11:27. So you can still watch the replay on YouTube though, so be sure to do that. Jason is awesome. But welcome to the Adobe DC Daily Creative Challenge. I am your host, Andrea. So today's Friday. It's our last challenge of the week, but we'll be back next week as well with another set of challenges. So welcome everyone in the chat. We've got Cindy, Tim, Jack, lots of familiar faces, Jan, Howard, Edmund. Welcome everyone. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Friday. And I have a very fun, actually much requested DCC today, Daily Creative Challenge. So let's go ahead and hop on over into our behance.net/challenge/xd, our main homepage. So if you're not already registered, be sure to register with this big blue button up here. You'll get notified every day at 8 a.m. in your Creative Cloud app up here. So let's scroll on down. You guys know how it works by now. So let's see what today's challenge is. So this actually ties in with yesterday's stream a bit because I teased it a little bit, and a lot of you guys were asking me in Discord how I did that kind of scrolling, the scrolling sort of number slider. So we're going to work on that today. So what I want you to do is design a mobile experience where users can anonymously ask and receive career advice. And we're going to use Auto-Animate to create a slider that adjusts the salary number as it scrolls. So think of like the slot machines in Vegas, if you're over 21, where there's like the 3 strawberries and then they go through the loops. So we're going to make something like that. So if you want to, you can get that starter file from Dropbox by hitting the Get Started button, hit download, direct download, and it will download that XD file for you. So that'll look a little something like this. But first I want to hop into Discord. So if you guys aren't already a member of our Discord community, definitely encourage you to join. So this is where this link up here is where you can join if you're not already a member. But yeah, let's hop back into Discord. So just a few of the important channels if you guys are new. We've got the Creative Challenge channel, and this is where we just give you all of the prompts and when we're going to be live streaming for the Creative Challenges. We've got the feedback channels. So we have a few different feedback channels, so just make sure you're posting in the right one. If you're doing the current challenge, which is this live stream right now, you can post in here, post your work in progress, post your prototypes or your links to Behance, whatever you want, and we'll give you guys feedback. If you have any questions, you can post and ask a question. And of course, if you're new, introduce yourself in the introductions channel. Lots of new people, new faces over there. All right, so let's hop right in. Welcome to everyone who's just joining in the stream. Ooh, lots of you guys. Awesome. Yes, happy Friday, Joshua. Thank you guys all so much for joining me. So this is the starter file. Like I mentioned, you can also get this from the Dropbox link. So we're going to be designing a mobile experience where users can anonymously ask and receive career advice. So think like if you want to ask about salaries or just like favorite UX books or how to get a mentor or some sort of thing that you wouldn't normally want to ask out in public, I guess. You could do this on Discord by just making a fake account, our Discord channel if you wanted to, but we're going to be creating an app for that today. And this is where we're going to be focusing on so that auto-animate action in the prototype tab up here. So I got some inspo for you guys. This one I liked by Michael Peruski. And you can do something like this if you want to, having the numbers scroll vertically. And I love this little slider down here, kind of looks like a ruler-esque. So that one's really neat. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name because I know I will butcher that, but this one, I loved the slider. You can make it get bigger as you go left and right. This one by Raw Motion. It was actually a GIF, but I couldn't add the GIF in XD, but basically when you press it, like the number pops up and then scrolls as you go left and right. So, test it out, try to make it your own. And of course, be sure to share your work on Behance and Discord when you're done. So with Behance, just be sure to share with that keyword XD Daily Challenge so we can find your work and share it if you would like and give you feedback. Okay, so I already have 2 artboards already designed, and then I want to just focus on the last 2 with the slider and those sort of scrolling through the numbers elements. So I'll just kind of show you what I've already been working on. So this one is the home page, just some text. These are just some shapes with the Pathfinder tool, and excuse me. And then down here, we've got a few questions. So we're going to start with, how much do beginner product designers make? And just ignore my numbers because this is not real data. I was just, kind of filling it in with some fake numbers. So don't be alarmed if it's not anything near what you make. And then we have some tags. So hashtag salary, hashtag mentor, and a way to actually add a new question down here. So we want to go from choosing one of these questions to this next page where it kind of expands and we see a little bit more detail about that particular question. We see how many people commented, if you want to like it. And then below that, we've got the card with all of the data. So let's say the average is 70,000. And then down here are all of the votes that people anonymously have voted on it. And then we want to be able to vote, and that's what we're going to focus on. So let's make sure, this is already, we've already added this trigger. So we just want to double tap in there, down into that group a few layers. And I dragged this little blue slider over to the next artboard, and the trigger here is tap. And just a normal transition. We don't need anything fancy like Auto-Animate, and just a normal dissolve. So let's see what we got so far. This is our preview. So we just click on it, goes to the next page. What I want is another card to kind of slide up from the bottom here, and we will be able to vote as well. So let's go ahead and just go back to our design tab and make sure this is all grouped, which it is. And then we can just copy it and paste it onto our next artboard. So I'm just doing Command C and Command V. And then we can just slide this up a tad bit. And I want to add another card sort of similar to this shape at the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, make it about the same radius there. And I've already got this gradient saved over here in my colors palette. And I want to, the only annoying thing about this is I want the gray to be at the top and the white to be at the bottom. Okay, but easy enough to do. Okay, so we've got our little card. Now let's start filling it in with some items to be able to vote on this question. So let's add some text. We can say your answer. And you guys are always asking about the fonts. So this is Ariana Pro. Not Sophia Pro Soft. You guys know I use that all the time, so I'm trying to branch out. All right, so we've got your answer. We want to add the starter number, whatever it's starting at, and then we'll scroll through all of those numbers. So copy that. Let's just say we'll start on this same number, so 70,000. Okay. Again, this is not real data, so do not fret if you were thinking it would be something else. And I just want to add a little indicator that this is kind of scrollable up here. Not totally necessary, but I think it adds just another indication that it's scrolling. And below that, let's add the actual slider. So again, whenever you're adding any kind of new element, just make sure it's in line with something else on the page. So I want to keep it in these 2 lines. can move that to like right here or so. And let's see, what color do I want to make this? Maybe this same blue color, grayish blue. I want this to be pretty thin, and let me zoom in a bit so you guys can see. So what I want to do is just copy and paste this. It's a little hard to tell. Did it copy? Copy, paste. Move this over a bit, and let me change the color so you can see it. And then we will add a circle. Looks good. To be able to drag it. So let's make this blue. Whoops. Select that same one. Welcome, welcome everyone. Joshua asked, do they have a big version of the font called Ariana Grande? Okay, that's hilarious. I'm here for the puns today. There's another one that's very similar that I also like on Adobe fonts called Adriana Pro, but a little bit different, so check those out. One thing actually that I would love to see in XD is I like in Illustrator that you can like favorite or star fonts. I don't think you can do that here. Yeah, we've just got all the fonts, but that's my next feature request. I would love to see that because I have like 10 or so fonts that I usually just reuse all the time and I just don't remember what they are anymore. Okay, so let's group these. That's a little big. Okay, there we go. Move that down a bit. And now we just need to add some keys. So like, what's the number starting at and what's the top number? Obviously it could be infinite, but we just want to give people some kind of indication of what the middle is. So let's say we're starting at 0, of course. And we're gonna left align that over there. Ooh, Howard said more font controls coming, yay! And Howard knows, so you know it's real. So we'll say like 250K. If anyone's making 250 as an entry-level product designer though, I want to have their job. Okay, so this is a little big. Let me move some of this down. The main thing is I just don't want to see that black CTA behind there, so make sure we're not seeing that. Okay, and then at the bottom, we just need to add another CTA. I'm just going to actually copy this one, paste it over here, and remember, 2 days ago, I think we discussed the padding, or was it 3 days? I can't remember anymore. So whenever two items are grouped, you might want to go over to this padding in the layout and then turn that toggle on. And if you want to change it to something else, like submit answer or submit vote or something, the padding will stay the same. But actually that looks crazy, so I don't want that. So you can either, you can either go over here and manually change the sizes like this, or you can use the tilde key, which is that little kind of squiggly like this. Hold that down and hold that down and drag like this just with your mouse. So I'm gonna do that. Let's say 42. And I always like to keep these things even instead of odd numbers. So submit vote or submit answer, keep it on the same kind of parallel line there. And then let's just add, actually, I only have one asset on my assets artboard today, just this little close button. So we can add that right there. And the reason I'm adding that is because I always like to give users 2 ways to exit out of something. So whether it's like a close by a CTA down here, or it's a close icon up in the top right, or it's like a swipe down. So if they don't see the first way, give them another way if they're just trying to exit out of something, because that can be stressful. Okay, let's bring this down. I actually had a very stressful UI experience yesterday. I mean, it wasn't like traumatizing or anything, but I tried out TikTok as the youths are doing, and I could not figure it out. Like I literally it just was not intuitive to me. I don't know if you guys have tried TikTok, but I couldn't figure it out. Was just trying to make a Mr. Sandman a TikTok, but yeah, and that's what I do for a living, so one would think it would be easy. Okay, so now we're getting into the fun part. Did I already group this? Yes. Let me delete this actually, because I don't want this to be grouped. So let's go ahead and ungroup this. And I'm just gonna make a bunch of different masks right here. So like I mentioned before, we're gonna go through the numbers like vertically, like a slot machine. So think of that when we're doing this. So let's start on 0, and then we'll go down, just pressing the enter button. I need to zoom out a bit. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then keep this one behind while you're doing it, just so you know exactly kind of where the numbers should be. So I'll put this one here, just copy and paste that, and do the same for the rest of the other numbers. Copy and paste, put it over there, and drag this one over. And since this one is already on 7, we just want to drag this up a bit and zoom in, make sure it's, I mean, it doesn't have to be super exact, but just make sure it's kind of in the same space since we're fudging this a little bit. Okay, so now what I want to do is mask all of these at one time. You can either mask them each individually or all at once. I think it's just easier to do it all at once. So make a new rectangle on top and then select everything else. So I'm holding down the shift while I'm doing that, and then shift command M to mask. And sorry if you hear some construction in the background. They're doing construction right outside my apartment, so that was lovely. And then we want to keep that comma, but we don't really need to mask it, so let's move it over a little bit. Okay, so that looks good. Now we're all masked and we're ready to go. And since I want to drag this little slider a little bit over to the right, I'm actually just going to move this like right down here so we can see some kind of movement. Okay, now we can group all of this. It's just easier to do that when it's not a few like layers deep. Okay, copy all of that, paste it on our next artboard. Rosie said, Mr. Sandman with the kitty dancing. Yes. Okay, you know what TikTok I'm talking about. Because I have a cat, Sprinkles, so I wanted to do the same thing. That's like the funniest TikTok ever. Okay, so now on the next artboard, we just need to move some of the numbers, move the sliders a bit, so it looks like we're moving things. Yeah, what I was gonna do with the TikTok was I have a bunch of like hats for my cat for different holidays. So I have like a Santa hat, I have her Halloween costume, a cow outfit. So I was gonna do something like that with her dressing up. It was hilarious, and then I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, so what we're doing now, so auto-animate, all we need to do for that to work is just scroll some of these numbers. So let's say it goes to like 88 or something. And just move all of these numbers, and auto-animate will know that it needs to scroll through them vertically. So again, keep them in the same mask. You don't need to do a bunch of separate masks if you don't want to. Okay. And just try to make them all like on the same line there. It's a little tricky, but that looks pretty good. Okay, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and hop back into the prototype tab. And now all we need to do, let's double click so that little circle is selected. And we need to drag it over with the little blue indicator and go over into our interaction panel over here. So our trigger will be drag. It already knew. Look at that. And the action will be auto-animate. And easing, we don't really need any of those. Destination, we already dragged it there, so we don't need to specify. So let's go ahead and preview. I guess from the front, or from the home page. Okay, so we're on our home page. We're looking through all of the questions, and we see one that we like. Cool, want to find out more about that. So we say vote. It slides up. I might adjust that a little bit because it was kind of slow, but now is the magic part where we slide over and all of our numbers are automatically adjusting. So that's how you do it. Pretty simple. Just put all of those numbers in a mask and make sure they're all like vertical, and then add the slider as well. And then just hit auto-animate. So pretty easy. Does anyone have any questions? It looks like not. Hi from Iceland, Alina. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Jack said, I'm so jealous. Neither of my dogs are named Sprinkles. This was an oversight on my part. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so let's Command S to save. If you want to export any of your artboards, just hit export, selected. And if you want to select like only two of them, you can do that as well. Export selected. I have already uploaded mine actually. So let's hop on over into Behance and I'll show you how to share. So we've got this project already started, and make sure you add a title, add a little description about what the challenge is about, and do the same for each day. And I like to add a prototype with a little background for each day. So for this one, again, a lot of people were asking about this on the previous days. So all I do to make this kind of background is you export it from XD, which the way you do that is whenever you're previewing it, make sure you hit that little record button, and then you can click around and it will automatically record it, and you can save that as an MP4 file. And yeah, so I export that as an MP4 file and then export a separate artboard just with the excuse me, with the background and like with some, it's all flat, and then put both of those on 2 different layers in Premiere and export that into Behance. So make sure you go into your settings tab, into the discoverability tab as well, and add that keyword XD Daily Challenge so I can find you guys' work and share it on Behance and give you some feedback if you'd like. So add a little description so people can find your work a little better. You can add some creative fields as well, so UI, UX, interaction design, and such. So let's go ahead and save. And looks like I already saved it, just want to make sure. Yeah. All right, so now is one of my favorite parts. I want to see what you guys are working on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and search XD Daily Challenge, which is the keyword for this challenge. Let me refresh to see if there's, 2 new ones. Very nice. And I'm just sorting by most recent. I've already got 2 pulled up. Guys, this one was so cool. Such a good idea. And Joshua, I saw you in the chat, so I know you're watching. Yeah, so this is by Joshua, and his theme was Space Invaders. How cool is that? So this was yesterday's, and we were focusing on the polygon tool to create some badges and stars and see what kind of shapes we can come up with. This is so fun. Okay, let's make sure I'm at the beginning. Hold on, let me redo that. Space Invaders. So it's a smartwatch app. I love this. This is so fun. Game over, play again. I would totally play with this. I wish this was a real thing. This is such a good idea. So nostalgic. And then we see our little polygon badges. Nice. That one's really cool. I love that one. Play again. This is so creative. I just love seeing like just really unique things that you guys come up with like this. And I love that you showed all of your assets and your artboards as well. So awesome job, Joshua. I love that. And this one is by Diva Mitchell. Thank you for sharing. You've been doing every day this week, I believe, if you're watching, Diva. So thank you for sharing. And again, this was the Hour Login smartwatch app. And let's look at the prototype. That's the only issue with the smartwatches, because it's so small. It's a little hard to see. Let's see. So we've got the timer. And it starts. Ooh, look at that little animation. We got a badge. Very nice. I love the spinning. Looks awesome. Lots of spinning. I love the shapes you created. Good job on that one. Very, very nice. Everyone go look at Athena or Diva's projects. She's been doing all of them this week. This one was my favorite. of yours from Tuesday, I believe, with the little rabbits. All right, guys, that's about all the time that we have left for today. Thank you all so much for joining. Be sure to stick around in about 5 minutes. We've got our Adobe XD Masterclass with our very own Howard Pinsky. So stay tuned for that. And I will be back again at 11:30 Pacific time on Monday. So see you guys and have a great weekend. Bye.